Dear folks, if you are watching, let me welcome you to Screen Vision. This is our regular Wednesday show, wherever you are following the conversation tonight. I want to say thanks for joining us. You can please share the show. We are currently live on Facebook and YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook, Screen Vision, YouTube, Screen Vision. So just encourage somebody, share the show tonight. We're going to have a very good conversation. Every Wednesday is always an issue concerning the environment. This is a dedicated day is being set aside on Screen Vision to discuss issues that affect the environment. As you may be aware, there are a lot of issues being discussed around the world when it comes to climate change, the way in which humans interact with the environment, how are they impacting the environment, whether it's negatively or positively. That's why we usually discuss on Screen Vision. And now the entire world is driving to sustainability. That's why they have the SDG, which is the sustainable development goal, right? So now, if you look at the entire SDG, to me, it just centered around just three pillars. When you talk about environment, we're looking at the social aspect, we look at the economic aspect, and we look at the environmental aspect. That means, as an individual, once you are undertaking a project, or probably a company undertaking a project, you should consider these three pillars, because these three pillars should be integrated into your planning process. Because once you start the project, you're going to affect the environment, whether positively or negatively, you're going to affect the environment. Now, that project you are undertaking, how is it going to impact the lives of the ordinary people that is within that surrounding? How is it going to, impact the life, the society? How that project going to, put food on all these people table? We look at economic aspect. What are those jobs, employment? I mean, it's the avenues you're going to create for jobs. So once you get all these things done, once you integrate the various aspect like I just spoke of, the economic aspect, the the social aspect, and that is the environmental aspect in your planning process, that means we're talking about sustainability right there. Because when we talk about sustainability, like I can remember when we were at the Forestry Training Institute, we said eat some and leave some. Because the issue is this: we are, as an individual or as a human, we are the custodian of the environment. So we are the custodian. So we need to benefit. We need to benefit from the environment. How do we benefit from the environment? How does the environment impact our lives? It depends on our usage, the way in which we as an individual or the community use the environment. The environment is just there. It depends on how we use it. That means we need to put in place a proper land use planning. Because once you put in place a proper land use planning, that means you're going to allocate. Look, you're talking about bringing in the zoning aspect where, okay, this identical portion of land is being set aside for industrial activities. Industrial activities. This one is, because like I was having a conversation yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, one of my colleagues defended. I think you saw the post on Screen Vision. We were discussing. So I said the entire land it just been generally been put into two categories, either for uh what you call agricultural use or non-agricultural use. Now, agricultural use, you're talking about the issue of agricultural productivity, the issue of production, producing food. The non-agricultural use has to do with residential buildings, industrial areas, areas for tourism, recreation center, all these places. So every land, you cannot go build for example a football field on a fertile land, which of course is not possible, right? Though there are some countries who doing it. That's why every country need to use a proper land use planning and management. That means you have done your survey, know where the various lands have been, situated, and then you know the land that is that is fertile enough to produce more food. That means that place you're going to leave it there for fertilizer. Meaning when you're doing the not fertilizer but agricultural activities. When you are doing the zoning process, you're going to take that identical portion of the land for agricultural activities. And then you also look at area for recreation center, football field. So if we use this the environment in the form and manner, taking into consideration the environmental protection, we're going to have what we call the issue of sustainability, because we're going to have place that is situated for agriculture, have place for industry, have place for resident, and so on, recreation, and so forth. That's why a responsible country will have what we call a system put in place whenever an individual want to undertake a project. They need to carry on a what called environmental impact assessment. That assessment need to be done because the environmental impact assessment going to identify the impacts your project going to have on environment, be it negative or positive. But for environmental impact assessment, we don't really look at the positive part. Yeah, with positive part is important as well, but we're looking at the negative aspect. We agree it's going to create job, blah blah blah. But let's say, for example, you have a industry, right? And you generating waste you need to get, or using the water to wash all those chemicals and other things. At the end of the day, those waste are not being treated, and then you dispose those waste directly in the wetland. It's going to cause problem, right? So that's there where environmental impact says, they say, no, you have to tell us how you're going to treat the waste. This waste you're going to generate, this pollution, air pollution, how are you going to treat them so that it can cause damage? In other words, we say polluter pay principle comes in. If you affect the environment negatively, you have to pay for it so we can use that money to repair the damage that you cause to the environment. It's one of the principles, the polluter pays principles. So, folks, this is why we do here every time on Screen Vision. We're discussing the issue that is affecting every one of us. The issue of climate change is clear. It is no longer a secret. The entire world. That's why, in a simple term, we will tell you that the world we are living in a one environment. What do we mean by that? If you carry any pollution in Liberia, it's going to affect people in Rwanda one way, or it's going to affect people in the US. That's why you see countries like Norway, countries like the US, other high industrial countries, they usually give some donation to countries that have more forests, because the forest serve has a carbon sink that all the greenhouse gases. Sorry, I'm not conducting class. We are just bringing these things so that people can know. The forest has the ability to absorb the carbon, the smoke. Let me put in yeah, simple thing. The smoke that you see going in the air from the car, from the motorbike, maybe from the industry. Yeah, the smoke that goes in the air is the forest that contribute when it comes to the absorption of those smoke. We call it carbon dioxide. The forest will take. So if you don't have much forest, if you cut all the forest down, how do you expect for this forest to provide the ecosystem services that they need to provide? Or if you degrade the land, how do you expect for the land to provide those ecosystem services? Be a wetland, every the wetland have its own ecosystem services. Once this natural environment has been degraded, you will cause a disruption when it comes to the kind of services they provide within the environment. So that's why we should be knowledgeable of some of these things so that we can pass the information to our generation to come. Look, my son, everything you are doing right now, take into consideration environmental protection. The issue of climate change is real. We are feeling the heat. We are feeling it everywhere. Even those who carry agricultural activity these days, they are also feeling it. And it's just simple because the issue of population is continuing to increase. Once population increase, if population increases, the issue of settlement also increases, right? If you get more people, you have to get more, when spaces for them to build. Once they have those spaces for them to build, you also have what we call deforestation, because you're going to degrade land, you're going to cut down trees, you need to expand the city. So I mean, those places that you have trees, then you have to push the city. So it means that we also have to manage the way in which we produce. That's why, according to research, country like China, they have the one child policy. So make use of the content as well. Let know, don't just be born, you get 15 children. They also helping to affect, to impact the environment negatively. Probably you also discuss the positive aspect. But like I said, we usually focus mainly on the negative aspect, because I mean, positive thing is okay, you can enjoy it, it's sweet, but you don't enjoy negative thing. So normally people usually focus on the negative aspect to address that issue. So whenever you're watching, I have the guest panelist already in the back. I'm not the host. I'm the producer, but I'm also reading environmental management and conservation. Yeah, soon to be a degree holder. So that's why you see we are here for now. We don't have the resources to go out there, from community to community to campaign. But I think we can also pass the message to the community through this medium for now, because this is what we are capable of doing now, and what we're able to do. We don't have that money, so we are using the means now to give our own contribution to the environment. As a student reading environmental management and conservation, right now in Rwanda or supermarket, we usually call it Simba. At first, if you go to Simba to buy, Simba will give you, the paper bag free. You just put your thing inside. But like Simba have come to realize that these paper bags, let's assume that we giving these paper bags to almost 300 to 400 human beings that will buy every day. And then if you carry the paper bags, you go, you dispose the bag somewhere. The next day you come back again, you get another bag. We give it to you free. You carry. So let's assume that since Simba been working in Rwanda, I don't know how many years there, but just imagine the amount of paper bag they are giving us free. So now Simba say no. These days, if you go at the supermarket, if you buy your stuff, you're going to pay for the paper bags, which of course are encouraged. It's good. I want to applaud the administration of Simba for that. Because if you're paying for that paper bags, the next time you go into the supermarket, you're going to poke that bear somewhere and then take it with you. There where now we say we get we usually say only 3 hours. We say reduce, reuse, you know. So you have to reuse the paper in that spot, but you carry one because they give it to you free, so you take it, you just dispose it somewhere. We agree it's degradable. The paper is degradable. We do agree. But I mean, we cannot continue to just get people in the community causing problem or disposing garbages all around, and we can talk about it. We have to do. So now Sima saying, look, my brother, if you come to the supermarket now, if you buy, you have to pay for the stock. I'm seeing the host in the back. That's why I was delaying. And the guest panelist and one of our colleague, David Flomo, is also in the back. So let me try to bring them on. So just continue sharing the show. Share the show, talk to somebody, encourage your friends to join. Look, you see, like the way this show going to be very educative tonight. If you are somewhere, if you are a student reading in anything in the environment, just take your pen and paper to get some of these, information. It's important for you. If you are a man who is not reading anything in the environment, I think our English is clear. Let's be careful the way in which we are using the environment. Without the environment, there will be no human being. Without the environment, where will you be? So if you destroy everything around you now, even the soil that's supposed to produce the food and other things for agriculture, you have taken enough fertilizer. I mean, let me tell you, the same way you have the ability to eat and then your gut can get full. That's how those plants looking. If you put too much agriculture in the soil, those plants going to take the one that they think they can absorb. Once they reach their level, they finish. The rest of it, what happens? They're going to be degraded, melt in the soil, and then it reinforces. it washes the water away, goes straight, to the screen or the river that is there. And we talk about pollution. It's going to contaminate our water. There are a lot of marine species there. There are a lot of, animals living in our water. Plants and animals living in our water that have their own lives. But if you use too much fertilizer, if the plants finish taking their own, the rest of it become waste. At the end of the day, it rains fall, it washes away. Or if there is no rain, it go there, and then there are other microorganisms within the soil that also have their own function within the environment. They got their own parts to play. So if you get enough fertilizer, you're going to damage them, you're going to kill them. How will they provide their functions? So the end of the day, that soil become infertile. If you plant anything there, you can get nothing. So you got to double the fertilizer, and there's too much of everything. Sorry to say, people say the nonsense. Too much of everything that nonsense. You're gonna put that fertilizer in there, that whole soil, you won't get nothing from there. So let me welcome our colleagues as we await the host. He was on just now. Uh, we just get guest Prince,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prince. All right, sorry, welcome. I've been talking too much. How you doing, sir?
But thank you, Mr. Ballah. So it's a
Okay,
privilege to have the conversation with like minds from the sector or whatever profession that we're anticipating to go into. Some may have had
okay,
experience to be in the sector and play that part with their own expertise. But like you said, I've listened from your introduction. You hear a few points that are so significant regardless of wherever you are in the world. What environmental factors of environmental shortcomings of any ability that is owed to the earth, it affects all of us.
sure.
So I was asked by a colleague to discuss exploring the role of exploring the
Yeah,
role of technology
technology.
in environmental
Yeah,
challenges with a key
yeah,
focus on the three main pillars of sustainable development, which have to do with the
yeah,
environmental aspect, the economic aspect, and the social aspect. So
sure, my dear.
when you discuss the role of technology and you are focused on especially the protection of the environment, because if
No,
you recall,
we sorry, Prince.
oh, you
We
have an
will dive
introduction.
into that. I was just bringing him now. The host, sorry, the host is on. When you
Oh,
come, we're going to dive into the conversation. Let me bring in David, Mr. David Flomo. David, welcome. David,
Well,
welcome.
thank you, Tatos. Yeah, thank you, Tatos. Thank you for the
Okay.
intro. I was listening. I was sitting in the back listening to you when you were laying the premise. The
Yeah,
introduction
sure,
is actually catching. It tells that the topic is going to be a very nice discussion tonight, and it is important to our different communities. And so I'd like to say thanks so much again that we're here tonight, and we're looking forward to a very fruitful discussion tonight. And that's a very nice topic. And one thing, one of the pillars I really got interest in is the social aspect, because there most of the concessionaires and all of that can affect our, can destroy our community, and our people can be left with nothing. And so
sure.
when the time comes for us to make our input and get into our guest who is more knowledgeable than we do,
Nah,
we're going to expand on the
just gonna share
topic.
knowledge with my guys.
Thank you so
But
much.
it's a privilege, though. It's a privilege.
so thank you, David. The host is here, Mr. Broski Guanbeh. So, folks, if you are watching, this is Screen Vision and this is Environmental Talk. We do this here every Wednesday. So, bros, welcome.
Okay. Good evening to every one of you. Good evening to our listener, our initial audience. We want to speak to you tonight. Uh, and Tata, we want to appreciate you for establishing a basis for the discussion tonight. Uh, it's a pleasure to be here again. So basically, we are about to start the show, though we should have started by 9 o'clock exact, but due to some delay from our end, we firstly want to apologize to our audience and also to our guests for keeping you on the show for some times where we're trying to settle some things. So it's a privilege actually to be here tonight. Wheresoever you are following us, We are live on Stream Vision on our every Wednesday show, which is actually considered as a environmental talk, where we discuss issue concern. Like Tata rightfully said, the environment belongs to us, and that every other thing you do in the environment, if you do pollution, maybe in Russia, people in Rwanda, people in Liberia, people in Nigeria, even the USA or even China, every part of the world, they are going to feel the impact and the direct effect. So the environment belongs to us. So we need to keep the environment clean. We need to take environmental consideration uh, seriously when we are carrying on development and other things. So tonight we will be discussing issue concerning the environment with a very interesting and fascinating topic, where our well seasoned guest is positioned. He's seated with the knowledge he has, and we know what he can do with just the ability. We are about to learn from him tonight. So if you are following us from any other part of the world, be it Liberia, be it Rwanda, please do us a favor by sharing our show and then inviting others to follow to learn from our guests tonight and our panelists. Because the panelists on the show, they are actually seasoned panelists that they always there discussing issues. So basically we'll start with the introductory part. Not to waste our time, we'll start with the introductory part. I Prince is not yet online, but we expect him to join. So, Mr. David Flomo, uh, are you hearing me, guys?
Yeah, yeah, we very
I'm
clear.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
you.
I'm hearing you, the host.
Okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let us start with the introduction tonight. Let's start with David. Mr. David, kindly introduce yourself to us and to the guests tonight, and also the audience that are following briefly.
Well, thank you so much, Brooks. I'm happy again to be here tonight. I think this is my second time on the show, and I'm getting more interested in the discussion. My name is David Flomo. I'm a Liberian, a student of mass communication. I'm reading mass communication at the East African University here in Kigali, Rwanda, and I've practiced journalism for a couple of years now. When I was in Liberia, I practiced with so many media institutions, both online, the radio station, I mean the print and whatever way you call it. And I mean, we've come here to further our education in our respective, professional disciplines. So I mean, that's just a bit about me, and I'm a better backdrop anyway. So thank you so much.
O- Okay. Thank you, David, for the introduction. Tata Bala, you have gone beyond the screen. Anyway, we cannot actually wait for you. But if you're hearing, please introduce yourself, Tata Bala.
I don't know what I'm able
So
to hear
I think
you.
it's regular. My name is Tados V Bala. Like always, I always hear this is my regular position, and we are happy today to be here. Like I said from my intro, to always discuss issues that affect you know the world, our environment that we live in, because these issues, we do not discuss it and then find a solution to them, is going to cause a serious problem that will be beyond our control. So as it stands now, we need to find, a solution or a mitigation measure to be put in place to curtail some of these damages that we see are being caused by the anthropogenic activities, or you say human activities within the environment. So we look forward to a fruitful discussion. Looking at the topic is very important. We have been discussing a lot of topics, but I think the one is also important because technology now, the entire world is driven, by that going on that side. Technology wise, everybody, want to invent something. So now we also have to, look at technology aspect, how we can use that to also help to mitigate or you know stop those some of these environmental or problem we are faced with. Thank you so much, bros. Brooks? No, we are not getting you, Brooks. Unmute
Sorry,
yourself. We are not
thank
getting
you, thank you for the introduction, Tata. Let us get to our guest. We just want to hear a brief introduction from you, though we will dive into the topic tonight.
Okay,
Brother
thank
Prince.
you, Mr. Host. My name is Prince Ballah, young Liberian who is a master candidate, uh, major in environmental economics and natural resource management. Over the years, I've been fortunate to have been in the sector as a growing young emerging environmentalist. So to further our knowledge, sometimes we have to network with other young professionals like us, similar mind, or people who are in the directions to have a solution or to find a solution that we cannot face or solve that only by ourselves. So I'm paired up by trap also, like my brother Debe Flomo said. And yes, so that's a bit of the guest on that. And I'm also privileged to be on this show. That I've admired for the short period of time since it's existing, and where is the direction of that is closely looked at by other young people who have not reached the level of the host or whoever that is being on the show, that we can share ideas. See, the thing about interaction is not just about one person that is already client, but the topic is about how can we come together and have meaningful conversation that other people watching from all part of the world can help or can learn from our discussion as it go on a daily basis. Because like the title said, the global issue of environmental protection is cardinal. And now we have linked it with technology. Technology play a great part of helping to reduce one of the major environmental challenges that we have. So, like I said, I'm privileged to be here. It is an honor, and I hope whatever thing we discuss can be um, a solution for someone who is in the sector or someone who would be new to the sector or the profession or the global world challenges when it comes to environmental management and mitigation. So, thank you for the time.
Okay, Mr. Temeh, thank you very much for your brief introduction. I actually we are coming to you live tonight from Kigali City, the city of thousand hills. My comrade can usually say the country of thousand hills. So we are live on Stream Vision tonight. Today is February February 12th, Wednesday. I know every Wednesday we usually have this discussion. We have our environmental talk to enlighten the minds of people about environmental issues and then educate all our people who are not actually knowledgeable about environmental issues, and for us to take the initiative by ourselves, because it cannot be done by only government, it cannot be done by only NGOs, it cannot be done by an individual, but collective work. So it is necessary that we always be here on Wednesday evening, and then we discuss this issue. Um, Basically, it is our pleasure. I speaking to you. I am Brooks K. Guanbeh. I serve as the host for tonight's discussion, and the usual host for the environmental talk show. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight again. So basically, let's just dive into the topic tonight. Before we dive into the topic, wheresoever you are following us, please try to share our show. Let other people share it, and then for all of us to see how best we can hear the message from our seasoned guest, who is comfortably seated. He has all the information tonight to share with us, so the other people can learn and then see how we can find solution to some of the environmental problems that we have involved with when it comes to climate change and other things. So tonight, our topic tonight is actually, it's just very short topic, but it means a lot. It means a lot actually. It is exploring the role of technology in addressing environmental challenges. You know, when you look in every part of the world, environmental challenges are there. Even where we are in Rwanda here, where we are in Liberia, the environmental challenges are there. So how can we use technology to see how best to address those issues that the environment is faced with? So we want to officially welcome you to our Stream Vision show tonight. Today we will dive into the crucial interaction of technology when it comes to environment and those relationships. So we our guest, Mr. Prince Ballah Temeh will be discussing. I would call it environmentalist, emerging environmentalist, a man with he's doing master degree, master study. Sorry, he's doing master study, and basically he's a senior student from the UNILAK at the UNILAK level, um, University Adventist of Kigali. So he has more knowledge to share with us tonight. So let's start with the discussion like this. Um, Setting the stage, Mr. Prince.
Yes,
This is
sir.
the topic, and this is the topic. And this topic appears to be very much fascinating tonight, and the audience I will be basing on your expertise and then your knowledge to share with them and see how best we can find some of the solutions to environmental problem. So can we start at this? What do we mean by technology? Considering a particular topic, what do we mean by technology and environmental challenges? Let's speak to that first before we can go forward.
So as we realize, based on the improvement of mankind, the thought of making things easier for us as we back on our life journey to whatever perspective of life we live. There have been
Mm,
a lot of new things, new ideas, new materials that have been developed from the
mm,
real aspect to a sophisticated aspect that is intended
mm,
to help us regardless of its environment, whether it's IT technology, whether it's transportation, whether it's waste management, whether it's business, whether it's journalism. So the idea will be developed by various professional people or different kind of people around the world to find we are solving our problems so that we can stop we can stop a little bit suffering to find a solution to simpler problems. So we come with technology. So you see the lack of technology.
that's
Yeah.
mm,
So we come with
mm,
technology. We see the lack of technology around. That now I'm talking to
okay.
you live.
Mm,
The last maybe let's say a century, last century, you may not have this opportunity to talk to me live. Someone may have to send an email or read or telescope note and send to farther distance that we are privileged today. We're on a live discussion to talk and share ideas. So that's the importance of technology. But in so doing, and everything have its pros and cons. Technology may have been developed to find a solution for us in our global war, but how can it help us and how does it affect us?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mr. Prince, we just want to get the broad knowledge about technology, like you rightfully said. Let's go to environmental challenge or challenges. What do we mean by environmental challenges? Maybe other people would like to know, and myself would like to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, environmental challenges may be in a simpler form, not like a kind of guiding definition, but I mean just for us to understand, like these are
Mm,
challenges that we are faced physically that we see. For example,
mm,
the issues of CO2 that is greatly
mm,
being emitted into the atmosphere that is affecting the ozone layer that we all know we have read
mm,
about. The issues of
mm,
climate change, also the CO2 that is coming back, and that because our trees that we have kept for a long period of time, we are setting as a
mm.
preservation for CO2 and giving up good oxygen. It's also being affected. That is a major challenge. The issues of many activities. People are exploiting on a large scale and forgetting what the SDG said about using our natural resources for the future, for our present, and not forgetting about the future. The issues of waste management, these are all factors that are challenges that is emitting on a daily basis by a lot of different sectors, a lot of different people. So the topic tonight is how can we see what after technology in helping or addressing environmental challenges in regards to the three major factors of sustainable development goals.
Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. I think guys, you if you are following us, you have gotten the key words that we formulated in this topic. Technology and environmental challenges. Like he rightfully said, technology, those information, those techniques you put into place, maybe it can be like he rightfully said, computer you use, maybe some of those technology could be the GIS, those are technology you put into place to see how best you can work and then conserve or protect the environment. Then he rightfully said again, environmental challenges. Some of those challenges is in him, the emission of CO2 into the atmosphere, carbon dioxide he talked about. Uh, Climate change is one of the environmental challenges that we all know it affects the whole world. And even environmental degradation is one of the challenges that people go and then harm the environment. They throw maybe waste in the environment. Those are environmental challenges that we face. And even the loss of biodiversity. These are challenges that you rightfully named. I said we are going to actually learn from our guests tonight. Even some of those challenges that people might not see directly, but the effect can be on you is as a rain that can fall, as a rain, those rain that can fall due to the huge emission of those chemicals into the atmosphere, where uh, 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 carbon dioxide or maybe methane gas when they are being emitted into the atmosphere, or natural oxide they are being emitted into the atmosphere, they interact with the water vapor, and then they come back in the form of acid rain, affecting the environment, degrading the environment. There are many. So based on this topic tonight, and discussing the topic in the simplest form, like a layman in Kwendi Nimakante, a layman in Foya Lufakante, a layman in Ganta Nimakante. Let me go to my friend area too. Ray here in Bonkante. They'll sit there and see how those things affect the environment, and they themselves can see it physically. But the only challenging part there is they don't know why are those things. But the
Yeah, but
effect can be
talk
yes.
about the layman talk about the layman reward G2 now.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
you want call
Because
people Sunday.
yeah, we were right around us here too. So right here
The memory quality in Hoti.
in Monserrato, you will see people will carry
Now
on
this
littering.
specific
They
to
will start
travel, travel,
waste.
travel identification.
Yeah, you will see people will start wasting or diet garbages. Those are environmental challenges people experience around here. So based on the knowledge of our guest tonight, we will be able to learn those things in the simplest form, that we can add it to our knowledge and see how best we can conserve the environment. So, Mr. Let me hold the guest here, and then come to Prince. Prince, you just enter the studio. Kindly introduce yourself, let the guests know you, and then
I think sorry, Prince, can you unmute yourself? You are muted. Unmute yourself. Prince, if you are getting me, can you unmute yourself? You are muted. You are not getting us. Check your volume. Check your volume because we are okay. Check your volume. Check your
is it okay,
volume.
Prince?
I think I just overheard Prince.
What is obvious? I mean, check your volume back.
It's obvious he ain't getting us at all. Is a man joins that a bobo?
Okay, you can go off and come
What
back.
about
You can go off, you come back. Okay, that's fine. So let's start the ball rolling tonight. I think the introductory part of the the topic has been made, which the two key words in the topic have been explained by our guest tonight. So basically, Prince, we have on us two environmental challenges, and then technology. This is the topic. The topic is exploring the role of technology in addressing environmental challenges. What do you make of this topic? You have given us, you have been given like 15 minutes to discuss this topic before we can come in with our question. Our question and answer from your end. Yeah, because we want you to actually display on this topic tonight. Like myself, because I have a lot of doubts, and Tata Ballah has a lot of doubts, and even David has a lot of doubts, and the other people who've been following. So it will be better you explain this topic to us tonight before we can come up with our question and answer.
Okay. So like I said again, I'm grateful to be one of the most humble guests that you have on the show, and I'm gonna elaborate based on my little experience that I've had over a period of time, whether it's from classroom, from professionally, or just from interaction with like my colleagues that I've met or senior brothers that I've held in the sector. So when you mentioned exploring the role of technology, that's the first thing I want. Exploring the role of technology. How does technology fit within addressing environmental challenges. And then, like I said previously, I think we're gonna that break it down into the layman understanding. That mean I've had a knowledge of environmental challenges or why environmental challenges. But initially, I think I listed two challenges that I think I'll go further or I should go further in for everyone to have an understanding of what the topic is or what are going to be some of the points I will learn from today or tonight, whatever time it is within your location, that will help us build us to have a clear understanding. So when I discuss the three SDGs major pillars that I will break down my conversation around tonight because the environment is very big and I think we may not have nothing more than an hour or 2 years. We cannot discuss all of the challenges within the environment just today or tonight, whatever. But I'm joining my discussion around the three pillars of the SDGs, which is the environment, the economic pillar, and then the social pillar. And then within that, I will discuss how we can explore the role of technology in handling our existing environmental challenges. Because they already do exist. We already discussed that we have existing and there are more challenges that we heard. But guess what? If we cannot find a role as technology has improved, and it's improving gradually, to play in addressing the issue, we're going to have a global issue that will affect all of us, especially we as a tier world country, like most of the countries in Africa that don't have these tools to help mitigate further environmental issues, unless the industrialized country or the countries that have developed in technology and we are being victimized, whatever the case may be or where you have been, by their environmental practices. So adapt into this conversation with the three aspects. So the first one I'm going to go in the environmental aspect. So as we go in the discussion, the environmental aspect, the environment, like I mentioned, is there are a lot of challenges that you may know or you may not know when you're ranging from, let's say, deforestation, agriculture, illegal agriculture practices, mining activities, the issue of climate change, the increase in emissions to the ozone layer, the depletion of diversity, the aspect of increased water, air, or soil. All these are major challenges that we are faced with today. So, how can we place technology in these environmental challenges without uh, in our future generation? Because we also need these things in the environment, which comes as a benefit to our existence. So how can we play? First of all, let's discuss a few points in the environment aspect of our list we discuss. When we look at the issues of climate change that we are greatly faced by, that uh, we have as population have increased, the test of livelihood and satisfaction of human have increased also. So we have the increase in car production, which is being used, uh, and also they are also emitting CO2 on a great scale. We also have the increase in industrial activities because the demand of wants and needs have increased also. So industrial institution or factories, everything, they want to meet their production goal. They also want to inflate and get more profit because as you spend money in the economy, you spend, you get back. And then as we environmental or emerging environmentalists, we also have to find a way to protect these things. The issue of CO2 and being used by both, let's say for a car, the car that have more cars around in population nation, even in our developing nations. How can we change the aspect? How can we change that aspect of using, for example, using solar cars and in the technical form that will help us than using cars that will be emitting CO2 on a regular basis that we don't have control of. Because don't forget, the trees that is being stored, that's supposed to be stored by wherever continent you are, especially Africa, is being cut down. It's being cut down. Illegal logging activity is being carried on, and there is no regulation. Some because one for us, I make it activity on some activities that happen in some undeveloped country. the issue of policy, the issue of bribery, the issue of unsustainable logging by both illegal logging and logging company. They are cutting down our trees. So the more they cut the trees, especially illegal logging for whatever practices maybe could be for the production of charcoal to have the livelihood income of even how do we call it, a sustainable income, the more the CO2 from these cars go into the atmosphere and they come back to Earth through us giving up vibrations that can affect us. So we change from regular cars, we go to solar cars. The issue of source of energy or power also serves as another factors that are affecting us. You look at where people are still using generators in Africa and on a high scale, and most of the homes they don't have stable electricity. So why can we not go and use technology in that role and use wind, solar energy and wind turbine to develop solar panels and solar energies that will help as a source of electricity instead of using big generator. Even the industrial people use a lot of big machines that produce and then it affect the same thing we complain on. These are all factors. Also, we look at the issue of waste management, the issue of absence of technological landfill, like that you mentioned the 3 hours they reuse recycle. If we don't have a standard landfill that can segregate our waste, and also we use the we use the 3 hours as a source of managing our waste, sustainability. Also, it affects us greatly because there are methane gas being produced at the landfill on a high scale. If the landfill is not up to a standard, and also if it's not monitored properly in the channel and waste are not collected or not segregated, it also affect the groundwater. The groundwater it affect our groundwaters. And then what do we do? We're not in a position. So what the alternative?
Sorry, sorry. I don't know what is going on. David is saying that he's not getting the guess, and for me, the guess is clear. Brooks, are you getting the guess clear?
The guess is actually clear from my end.
Yeah. So
I
I
think
think
the
David, you have to check on the
audience,
device
the
you are
audience is
using.
actually.
Check your volume.
I mean, the
Yeah,
audience
yeah,
is
that's the
getting the guess as well. So I don't know what happened, David.
yeah. So you can check the device you are using. Come here, please.
So
Okay.
let's
Yeah,
Sorry,
no
continue.
sir. You
problem.
can go ahead.
Yeah, so
Let's continue.
as I was
Not to distract,
elaborating
not to
before,
distract
it's
our
okay, it's
guests.
okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Mr. Flemon need to be in line with discussion. So as I was elaborating from the aspects of waste management, also we take a look at look at I mean then generalize from the money aspect to agriculture, also agriculture, the environmental standpoint. What can we do to standardize our products that we use for agricultural productions that cannot affect the soil? Because don't forget, we are not forgetting our future generation, but also need to benefit. And there are illegal agricultural activities going on. Also, they are legal, but these chemicals they are using is greatly affecting us. So what can we do to replace the ones through technology that will have a sustainable farming and also use technological tools? Because some of the factors, the reason why the illegal farmers, or even the local farmers, not illegal ones, the local farmers, they are using arcade tools and they are using pesticides and all those things that are affecting our soil. That tomorrow, even if they stop production or stop agricultural activities, that particular soil cannot be used for future purposes. Also, mining activities. People are using all types of chemicals for blasting and everything, illegal mining, that just because they want profit. But there are other role as joint environmentalists that we can put you to know, hey, we gotta use this machine, gotta use it when we start using this one. Even the ones that go to fishing, that we should to that point. Using all types of chemicals, like I mentioned, the cyanide they use for mining activities, all types of chemicals to get more. And these things are effective, but we need to replace them with new ideas through technology. Like I mentioned, the issues of turning from cars that produce CO2 to solar cars, emitting from generator as incomes of power or electricity to solar wind or wind turbine energy instead of just using that, even the industrial activity, the mining activities. We also even go to agricultural activities. These are activities that even the pollution that we complain about, because we don't even have technology at some level to determine the type of pollution, because when, at the contamination level, when it passes in the pollution, our water, our air, our soil are greatly affected. But how do we determine these things? To tell, for example, you tell a company, hey, you are doing mining activities, right? Okay, these are the technology to determine the type of chemicals to use for blasting. We don't have this technology. We need to change, and these people are taking advantage of us. So greatly the environmental aspect that are listed, these are the challenges and these are also mitigations I think from my own experience that we need to work on, because it affects us better what mostly than those people who are already protected that have developed themselves, and it come back to us in the future. We have a lot of sicknesses. Our environment is so dilapidated, and is so there's a lot of things that we use at that point. So this is my few ideas, and all the time I've been around, I think I've noticed that the environmental component, or especially environmental component of the TDP or sustainable development change, as they focus on using sun and keeping sun tomorrow, but in the environmental sustainable way in terms of protection of the environment. And then I also drive to the
Mm.
economic standpoint, if I'm not in a position to talk about, if I'm doing the both as continuous to say. So
Okay, okay,
okay.
okay. Let's hold you there. Let's hold you there, Mr. Prince. Let's hold you there. We actually, you just need to take a water break. We actually appreciate you for elaborating on the topic tonight. It's actually important that we learn from you as you explained. Actually, you have spoken about some of those key things that are affecting the environment, and some of those measures to put in place, which are all important. Before going forward, we want to just like start with some questions, and see, because that we try to we try to blend this topic with the let's say the sustainable development goals.
Mm-hmm.
The sustainable development has three pillars,
Okay.
which we consider the economic growth,
Mm-hmm.
the social, let's say a social aspect that has to do with social progress or social equality, however
Social
you name it,
equity. Social
and
equity.
then social equity, and the
So,
environmental protection. So these are the three pillars that the sustainable development actually speaks about. And then looking at sustainable development, we know it is development that meets the need of the present without compromising the needs of the future generation. Meaning, if you are consuming resources, you should not consume it in a way that it will jeopardize the future generation interest. Meaning, you should be able to keep some, preserve some for future use, or conserve some for future use. In this context, we will
mm-hmm.
first just start with the environmental protection, which is our focus tonight. Let's
Okay.
start with the environmental protection, which is our focus tonight. You know,
All right.
basically, the environmental protection pillar, it talks about conserving the environment, protecting the environment. Whenever you are going about carrying on development, or you are going about doing any other thing, you should also take the environment into consideration. That says we seek to conserve and protect the natural resources for future and for future generation whenever you are using a resource currently or
Mm-hmm.
presently. It involves addressing issues like climate change, pollution, like you name, those are challenges. Climate change, pollution, resource depletion, biodiversity loss, even the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, or overproducing waste. You know, one of the main things that we need to focus on is the environment has a carrying capacity.
Yes.
This carrying capacity is where the environment has the capacity or the ability to be able to incinerate those wastes that can be produced by us. So if the waste is produced beyond the carrying capacity, the ecosystem have the ability to collapse.
Okay.
So in this context, we need to, whenever you are carrying on infrastructure, which is the developmental aspect or the economic aspect of the sustainable development, or you want to improve the social equity, you need to what? Do it in line with what? Environmental protection. That is, in balancing these three, they are very much challenging, but it must be done. It must be done because the environment is where everyone lives, and when the environment is affected, the ecosystem collapse. Everybody will be affected. The effect will come on everybody. That when climate change occurs, the impact of climate change, where it can bring about acid rain, you will see excess rainfall, you will see flood, you will see drought everywhere. Diseases, you will see pandemic, all those things. So looking at this tonight, Mr. Prince, we would like for us to also understand how can technology improve waste management practices, from reducing waste generation of more efficient cycling or waste cycling. And
Okay.
how does this disposal method be implied, and that will not be able to exceed the carrying capacity. So
Okay. So,
can you address that for us? Let's listen to you.
thank you for thank you for the questions. I respect that. When you talk about waste management, like you mentioned, the recycling and the reusing of waste management, and you also mentioned one great point that I love: the carrying capacity. Because, like, especially I mean, break it down in our Africa or wherever challenge we have, because in Africa we are fit agree about those things. I mentioned earlier in my elaboration first, like I said, the reason why we are faced with waste management issue is because of technology. How? The first thing is start from the access of disposing waste management, especially in Africa. We don't have many landfills. We don't have many stations that are temporarily collecting waste. You call it transfer station that are temporarily collecting waste to help
Mm-hmm.
reduce the waste, or waste are not being collected on a timely basis. So
Mm,
before we move to technology, let's talk about the accessibility of how we collecting and managing, recycling, reusing our waste.
okay.
So for most countries, most African countries, the waste management process is a challenge because the population have increased and the waste is not, even if it's segregated, the amount of
Mm,
waste that is being generated is not
mm,
collected on time. So that one,
mm-hmm,
in order for technology is having access to waste collection points. Like you remember
mm,
the Zoom line back in Liberia, they had a Zoom line stuff that will come and collect waste from the home you pay for the service. In other developing countries or whatever we do, the amount of waste you say you have waste in, they are paying people scavengers or other people go to the street where collect waste to help the city manufacturer to control the waste process. But you have to have the technology first. For example, the pickup, which is when you collect the waste, the transfer station that is being built to collect waste to store temporarily. You gotta have
mm.
the landfill, a standard landfill that will have a way of segregating all of the waste and also recycling it that we can still use. But this technology is not being given to us, or we don't have food because the equipment of our population cannot met. But as a recommendation to this discussion or the question you asked, I think we start from the source through technology as what we call it our waste bin is being given to our homes to segregate the waste because it helps the waste collectors as they come for it. Because solid waste, with all the waste together, it takes time. Sometimes people are not paid well, they help matters and all the indicators, they just collect the waste. So they start from the point where we use technology, waste being and waste collector that can be improved and maintained on a daily basis. You also go to
Okay.
improve transfer stations. Improve transfer stations that will help collect the waste temporarily
mm,
until it's disposed to a standard landfill that will be used to process the waste and recycle the waste for further uses. And also it brings all economic
oh,
benefit to it.
mm. Okay, okay. Let's hold it there. That's nice. And let's come to Mr. David. David, are you getting us now? David. Okay, I think David is now actually hearing us. He's facing a challenge from his end. David, when you're hearing us, please unmute yourself and talk to us and let us know that you are hearing us.
I'm 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 hearing you.
Okay,
I'm hearing
that's
you now.
beautiful. That's beautiful. We actually appreciate. Having heard from the guest, he has actually elaborated on the topic and stressed out some of those key points that one need to take into consideration
Are you
as it
getting it?
relates to environmental protection and other things.
You're not getting
So,
it.
can you talk to the guest? Do you have any contribution or you have a question to ask the guest? We give you 2 minutes
Yeah.
or
So
three.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you once again. I want to appreciate him for the explanation. You know, those are some of the things that are affecting our country, especially in the African setting. You bring all the good ideas like talking about waste management, and all of that. But let's look at our country Liberia as a developing nation that doesn't have that financial strength and the good governance system that will put in policy mechanism, you know, to guide or to draft that particular proposal that he's bringing up, and to help manage waste in our environment as a country, Liberia. I'm setting as I'm on Liberia because we are a developing country. Now let's look at the mining sector because he spoke about the mining sector. Chemicals are being used. I know different mining sites. Water, people drinking water being polluted, contaminated with different chemicals. People, agricultural, activities being, disturbed by the usage of chemical, especially mining companies in our environment. Now, that draws down to the issue of technology. I'm coming back to here. I want you to really explain this portion. How can we make use of technology and to curtail the issue of using chemical at a very mining site affecting the local communities in our country? How can we use how you call it technology to really curtail that in our environment?
So I will speak this question. I will speak from few sides of point that I will get an idea for you guys to understand. It doesn't really only come from that point, but look at it, a policy issue first. You mentioned Liberia as a developing country that is being challenged by a lot of the factors that you listed initially. Most of the technologies that are being used at this very mining site, especially the legal one, not illegal
I ain't hearing
mining.
nobody.
I'm getting you.
Well, we have an issue. So most of these technology that is being used by the very mining institution for activities and maybe corrected because we're having a general conversation here. Um, these are old age machines and tools and everything. So in our life, they have regulators of like the lands and mine, other institutions. They are mostly checking on these guys to know because before the mining activity starts, for a legal one, you have to go through the EIA process or the ESIA process. There are requirements and there are all obligations and fines that are attached to the activity that is being carried on by them. Policy aspect need to come in with mining engineers or those of the profession that have been outside and see those new development, new machines and things that can test you to know the type of chemicals you're supposed to use for blasting, the type of chemical that's supposed to be disposed, how it's supposed to be disposed, where it's supposed to be disposed, to not affect the groundwater or other nearby river and streams that are closely around the mining activities. But we don't have these chemicals. So the policy makers that give the Pope clearances to run the institutions or activities to benefit the country, they should have new ideas or technology being brought by the institution as a mandate before giving go ahead. Because you myself, if I'm not in the policy making, or like for example, Lens and Mines or Mines and Energy, who give clearance or permits to companies that are bigger companies around, I cannot go and tell them. Maybe I could be an environmental maybe advocate and talk, but that will not make a difference. So I would recommend to policy makers and those who are regulators of the environment, mediate to these people. Hey, these practices that are being carried on by you guys is affecting our people. So you have to change the tools and everything. It should have they should even have tools too that can validate the kind of machines. Or if this guy said I'm using cyanide for blasting, and you know the level or sodium, and also you know the level that you're supposed to use to not exceed, that will lead to contamination or pollution of nearby communities. Then
Okay.
there's a change in handling of the technologies. But the policymaker they don't have technology. I may be corrected. They don't have
Okay.
technology, and then the regulators too that are also there. I don't know if they're checking all these technologies that they are using to verify these chemicals that is being used that are affecting our people. So in conclusion, we just have to improve the policymakers and regulators that improve on the kind of machine that is being used to test requirements of those equipment that is being used for mining activities.
Yeah. Yeah, David, our guest, Prince, thank you very much for responding to that question. The question asked by David is actually important, and your responses that you were giving are actually good. In addition to your responses that were giving, David, it's actually important to know some of those challenges. I mean, some of those equipment, not equipment, but technologies to use. You know, the pillar of sustainable development, although you might take in consideration the environmental protection, but it's also necessary that you need to improve economic growth to ensure to reduce people from poverty, to reduce people to carry on infrastructure.
So
But in doing that,
but let me just a minute, right? Let me just a
mm,
minute. Like what you were saying, that comes with the social and the economic pillar benefits of having these activities, because we can just not focus on only the environmental aspect, because this company they bring funds and income to the country, and also there are social benefit attached for those who live in, or even jobs. There are other jobs that are being available for people in these activities that, or the money activities that is going on. So we should not forget about, we should not focus on the environmental aspect, but also focus on the social and the economic benefits that attach to that activities. But our main focus is how can we mitigate these challenges or the activities on our people through technology.
yeah,
We can't
actually, you are
rule
right.
can't
You
rule
are
out the
right.
environmental and social aspect of it.
Yeah, you are right. That's why I want to bring that point to his attention. Considering the three pillars of sustainable development, it talks about the sustainable development talks about economic growth. It talks about social I mean inclusion. It talks about environmental protection. And tonight our focus is on environmental protection. Despite our focus on environmental protection, it is important that you improve or you carry on economic development as well. But in carrying on economic development, you should also take into consideration environmental protection. You should not carry on, you should not only focus on economic development, you carry on infrastructure building, degrading the environment, and then you go about harming the environment, harming the biodiversities that are within the environment. So in that question, we responding to the question you asked, in mining process, especially when it comes to iron ore mining, or maybe iron ore mining, or diamond mining, maybe all those mining process, you know, they carry they use huge amount of water quantity, using huge amount of water quantity and carry on more pollution. So in protecting the environment, it is necessary that technology be applied, that the amount of water to be used will be minimized. It does not mean that you should not use water. You have to use water, to maximize your economic growth
Productivity.
or what you want to get from there. But it's necessary that you reduce the usage of water, and then in polluting the environment, you should minimize the pollution that you will cause to the environment. You should minimize it. You should, or when you have like degraded the environment, you should also rehabilitate the environment. These are measures you can put in place. You should
That's
also
why
rehabilitate.
that's where the polluter principle come in.
Yeah, you should
Again, it's
also
online. It's
rehabilitate the
online.
environment.
It's online. It's online
Mhm.
in the ESI process
In
that
the
is being
polluter
given to.
in the polluter pays principle,
I'm hearing you.
you who cause damage to the environment, you take that responsibility to pay for why you all the damage you have caused to the environment. You see that? So it's necessary that we combine, because from the previous stage of this discussion, I said it is very much difficult to balance these three pillars of sustainable development. It's very much difficult. But if taking into consideration the environmental protection, anything you do for economic growth, you should take into consideration environmental impact. So let's stop there. Let's come to Tata Ballah. His Tata Ballah. We are to you. Do you have any question or contribution to the guest? Okay. I think he's so let's come to the guest. Mr. Temeh. We,
Yes,
we
sir.
we also want to know how can technology helps in mitigating climate change. What are some
Okay.
of those technology can be put in place in mitigating climate change? Though you can apply, like you said before, you can apply something like renewable energy. You can apply renewable energy. What are some of those renewable energy you can use? Maybe to migrate from those way by way of using something energy that can cause pollution, maybe generators that can cause pollution, all those things, and then driving to renewable energy. What are some of those renewable energy technology we need to apply to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere that can cause climate change?
Yeah, yeah. You said I did discuss the issue of the CO2 from taking from generator, and also mentioned renewable energy, solar, wind, those things, right? If you look at the climate change right now, the major contributing factors that we have to focus on will be these things that the CO2, the access of cutting down trees, which is affecting our environment, our climate as a major factors. And I want to we now spoke about in depth. It would be like how can we also talk about the issue of climate change if we have technology in reducing illegal logging, because like the trees you see developed countries around the world, because they want to save us from climate change. They ask undeveloped countries that have high rainforests like Norway, other countries, to preserve the forest, and they pay the damages in financial benefit that could empower those people around. The absence of the presence of illegal logging, right? How can we stop that? What technology can we bring in to, or what source alternative, like use as a technology, because it can be considered a source of alternative for those involved in logging activities that are
Okay,
causing. Yeah, what are those technology can bring in? For example, the funds that are coming to undeveloped country to preserve these trees and everything. What those technology can bring to track the amount of trees that we have currently, and those people that live within the boundary, what can we do to find alternative for their livelihood? Because somebody see these things are the source of income.
sure. Like in addition to it, before Tata Bara comes in, some of those technology the renewable energy technologies you can actually apply in reducing climate change, like something that the solar power. I
Yeah,
mean, let's say
wind
the solar
turbine, wind turbine.
yeah,
It started wind turbine
actually
and solar
yeah,
panels
the,
as source
the
of
solar
electricity.
panels you can use solar
Yeah,
panel, but for solar
when
panel it is sustainable energy use, so
mhm.
it can reduce the emit little or no greenhouse gas. into the
Okay.
atmosphere. Little or
But
no green.
also don't forget, we have the development of wind turbine at the higher
Yeah,
scale.
winter bar
Yeah,
as well. Even
yeah,
winter bar,
in
even
power plant.
hydropower. When you use
Yeah.
hydropower, you are using I mean technology that you reduce greenhouse gases emission into the atmosphere. Also, let's come to Tato Bala. Mr. Bala, having heard the discussion from our guest, he has responded to some of those questions. And before Tato Bala comes in, let me just remind our audience, we will be able to read some of your comments. We actually appreciate some of the comments that you are making. We are following all the comments you are making. Emmanuel Tour, we actually appreciate you. But we will come to you. We will start reading your comments one by one. So let's come to Tata Bala. Tata Bala, what's your take and what's your question?
Thank you both, and let me say thank you to our guest panelists tonight for the discussion. But I really want us to focus on, we're talking about the use of technology in, you know, mitigating some of these environmental challenges that we face with now. So our focus now, we this problem already been it's already there now. Yeah, we already have a lot of environmental problem in Liberia or other parts of the world. Our focus now is these technologies. What are some of those technologies that we need to use that will help reduce some of those problems, or what you say, mitigate? There are a lot of technologies that you think you can use. So these are technology we need to talk about and how these technology will contribute. For example, if you are already talking about you spoke of wind energy, you talk about solar panel. These are technology. But how can this technology that he just spoke of, the solar panel, the wind energy, how does it contribute to the reduction of some of these challenges that we face with in our environment? How does wind, even the solar panel or solar energy or the hydropower, how does it contribute?
Okay.
How?
Let the guests respond to that. How does
So
it contribute?
let's talk about the hydropower, like when we call the hydro that we use in Liberia. For example, let's take analysis on Rwanda as a case study. With the constant power integrated in this country, it reduces the usage of generators as a source of power electricity to almost all of the homes here. That's one of the factors or one of the contributors to all reducing this thing. Because if you have the hydropower, there's no need buying generator that will contribute to CO2 being emitted into the environment. Apart from that, the maintenance of those things are very toxic. People changing all filters, people using oil, it emitting it straight into the environment. So, with the absence of that source as the only way of electricity or whatever thing you want to do, and you have a stable hydropower that is producing water and having less effect on the environment, I think that's a major contributor to the reduction on climate change. And another thing you talk about
Yes.
again, the solar panels. Most homes that have solar panels, they're not running these generators and other things. They're not running this. I mean, I want to even go to that point. I want to even go to a point of, like, for example, the burning of charcoal in homes as a way of providing source to have food or whatever thing you want to do. Now you see people are using gas. I think gas being used as a source of
India.
say power in that point. So it also helps to reduce the emission of CO2 by that will affect climate change by bringing actually because go back to deforestation again, we go to cutting of trees can bring more production of coal to maintain the demand of people. So the development of all these things are major contributor or factor to help the reduction and the world international
Okay.
So
Okay.
so so
and the things we're
so
using.
Mm.
so that means if we want to contribute, if we want to use technology to help reduce the emission of these greenhouse gases, we
Mm-hmm.
need to focus on in Liberia. We need to focus
Mm-hmm.
on using the cooking gas, like you mentioned. So if you are
Yes.
washing now, using a cooking gas is actually important. He also spoke about even the hydropower, because once we got electricity all around, people won't use generator. So if you are for, I mean, you in a comment section. I'm saying this because someone is in a comment section asking some of this question. So it's just clear. So some of your question is asking that
Okay,
thing
so
is effective.
just the
Yeah,
alternative that we use as a technology to help reduce the things. So instead of
yeah.
using generator, you get four solar panel. That could be a recommendation.
You
Instead
know,
of
you know,
using
you know,
Yeah,
you know.
charcoal,
that's
Yeah,
another
you can use
solution.
yeah,
the gas
Cooking
as
gas.
a way, the cooking gas as
yeah,
another
yeah.
alternative.
Actually, you are
If
right.
government policy makers that are listening to us and are in a position of making a difference, we prioritize the hydro as a way to help fight climate change, and
Eh,
it will help to help at least contribute.
Folks, let me come into a point. When we were looking at the issue about waste being generated from some of these industries, like you listen to David. David spoke of some of these rural area, their water being contaminated, uh, waste coming from a point source, because in waste management we got what we call point source and non-point source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, waste coming from direct area that you
Mm-hmm.
know, and the next one waste just coming from all over. You don't know what and what is mixed with it. So how can you let's say for example, we're talking about Arsenal Metal, for example. Arsenal Metal have a big industries in Liberia, and they are using a lot of water. What are some of those strategies or the technology that we think we can use, the Arsenal Metal can use, that will stop polluting those rivers, those, or, those streams that the people in the community are benefiting from? What are some of those things that Arsenal Metal need to do that will help curtail or put stop to the pollution of the water bodies that the community is benefiting, the community are benefiting from?
So, like you mentioned, from the source listed, the point source and the end source, these are major factors in that activity, especially for global scale company like Accelerator, now the artisanal miners. So before this company come to that can I say of start operation, there are, like I mentioned, the ESI process, or the ESI, if I'm not showing by assessment process. There are requirements given by the regulators at what level you should use, or where you should dispose of your waste, your liquid waste, your solid waste, how it should be disposed to actually affect the nearby water source, which serves as a livelihood for those people. Don't forget, because when that source of a livelihood, because the common position for bathing, cooking, fishing, if it destroy, that whole source of income is being affected. So the first thing we go to policy first. We go to policy first as a way, which is the economic aspect, because economic is one of the biggest contributors to our economy. So the policy that has been the policy that has been given through the SI, we focus on it first. Next thing we do is, prior to the existing, before they start existing, there are machines that are recommended by those policy makers or regulators. Can it be assessed? Can regulators compare the what challenging issues of the kind of has still mining activity that has become an accelerator to find replacement? If not, they'll use the political principle, or they'll find them. In return, some of the funds can be used to buy machines that can assess at our own skills to know what are these machines, the machine that is using, or how the waste be disposed. The waste should be disposed separately, even at the money side.
So,
As
so I think I want us to maybe we can recommend this, that they should have a waste treatment plan.
they do have,
They do have. So
yeah.
then how are they how are they contaminating maybe the water bodies or the wetland within that environment? So meaning that plane is not, probably that plane is not really functioning,
And that's
because
why
if you have,
I keep my, I say the policy maker, the regulators got to
yeah,
do 12 check on these people, because there's a requirement. They have waste treatment plan.
okay,
Because at the level of mental, that's requirement at the level, even not before this have a safety environmental law. This they heard the
yeah,
international laws. They can be found out about liability that bring government, but other top or institution. that requirement.
Okay,
They have
thank
those
you.
things in place. So the
Thank you.
recommend policy, the policy maker, the regulator, tutor
Yeah,
checking
yeah, yeah, yeah,
before they
yeah.
step
I
on.
want to add up to what you were saying,
Hello.
Tatus,
Tata,
about Asala Meta having play.
yeah, David, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
So
hearing
I
you.
want to add up to what Tato just said about, yeah, yeah, about Asala Meta having plane and the plane is not functional. The problem here is you got the Environmental Protection Agency that can, I mean, issue license or licenses to do mining companies or do concession companies. Now the problem comes in about monitoring the process. Sometimes the people they sit at their offices, those companies go to them, pay for permit, and they issue them a permit. They don't care about going to the mining site to really see as to whether the proper things have been put in place in order to fight against environmental danger. So
Uh,
it becomes problem. Even if
at
Asala
default,
Meta has the plane you're
at
talking
default,
about, if they
at
don't want to
default, they
use
say
it, who is
at
actually
default,
going after them or
at
to really
default.
see to monitor their activities as to whether the proper mechanisms I mean are being put in place in making sure that you fight against environmental danger. Sometimes the only time you maybe you see the environmental protection active when there is issue about money. You know, they go and impose fine on the people, they
At
get that
default
money,
with
they
that,
leave.
at
So
default with that,
the problem comes in. I mean, everything it's just tied down to the
at
issue of
default.
policy.
Sorry to say, at default with
Because
that.
if you got a very strong policy, you got, I mean, implementers of the policy who are very, I mean, proactive in the
Okay,
discharge of that.
okay.
So
I don't
so
think we'll be
so so
experiencing this as a country,
so
especially amid the proliferation of mining companies in our place in our
so
country.
so so at
Sometimes
the
you go to places, there are mining companies, people just doing their own thing, and nobody cares about it.
so I would
Okay,
default with that,
So
right?
I mean,
I
all
would
of these
default with
things
let's
you're
that.
talking about, you supposed to
Prince.
you're supposed to take data, right?
Prince, that hold you
Do
there.
they have those
That
instruments?
that Prince that
Do they
David.
have those
I mean,
instruments,
that
right?
Prince, but David,
To
David,
take
David, that
I
hold you
default
there.
with that, right?
yeah.
I default with that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
No
we are all
problem. So
emerging.
that's just
We
an
are,
issue.
let me come in here. We're all emerging young professionals, and sometimes our discussion was strictly on the basis of let's say students that are professional, immersion will be a professional. But I will speak on from my experience, not to talk about my profession as a side. I'm from the EPA background as a young professional. I've been there. That's my profession. That's what I do. But like my time, my experience, I will say this to you: the Environmental Protection Agency is one of the most hardworking institutions in Liberia when it comes to compliance, that have giants and have professional peoples that the issue of mental state. The reason why I didn't go deep because sometimes when you're talking on global issues to have solutions for it, you gotta be careful when it comes to your profession and your career. We have professional, they have professional people at the EPA from the compliance standpoint, or other section within the EPA that check these people on a regular basis. But let me tell you something. Some of the own people, the social beneficiary of the institution. Some of them are even at the ones. So are the ones that are not even giving the information. Somebody holding information, the EPA will check their back to back because the permit condition that you have seen around EPA have found a lot of companies. The next
So,
of
Prince, why is the problem? Why is the
No, no,
problem?
no, no, no. Brooks. From where he coming from? If you say EPA is a carry on, EPA is carrying on their duty. If EPA
Yes, I
tell
we
that
want to get.
deliver people to go, I can maybe make certain point. If
I ain't
EPA
hear
tell
the
the
main point.
company S to say, oh, company S try to pay the waste or treatment plan within your community, meaning you have to work on your waste, treat it before releasing the waste go that to go into the
so
downstream of the water
so
quality.
so
It
so
doesn't need a community member to carry information to EPA. EPA should come to that plane and access the plane
no,
whether there's a deliver plane is
no,
functioning.
you are mistaking, me, right? Like you're misquoting me. Sorry to say. I mean, like the thing is, when I make policy maker, you say I was specific policy maker. When it comes to the environment,
You guys are doing
EPA.
environmental science. I mean, I think you guys should know about. I mean, why call? environmental what assessment, impact
That
Yeah,
assessment
impact
so,
system.
so,
assessment.
so another social impact
That's
Okay.
assessment.
yeah.
Timmy, let me
Impact
Guys,
to
guys,
assessment.
guys, guys, guys,
Timmy,
guys.
let me
I
to
think, I
guess.
think, I think, I think. Hello,
There,
guys. I
there's
think
a clarity to be
I
made
think
so
I
that
think I think I think there are factors and indicators when I mean policy makers, but we shouldn't just specifically speak on an institution, even though they hear for environmental regulations and all institutions that fall in the environment. Yes, but we are looking for the role of technology in addressing the issue. We're not discussing the political side of this conversation.
No, it's
But like
not
I would like
politics.
yeah, no, I'm coming. But like
The way treatment plan is technology as well. The
I'm coming,
way
I'm
let's
coming, I'm
treatment
protect
plan.
the
coming.
guest.
I'm coming.
Let's protect the guest.
I'm
Okay,
coming.
go ahead.
Yes. So you know that the our partners that partner with the EPA to do the environmental compliance when it comes to the management of the environment. I mentioned to you, I said they have waste treatment plan. But some of these things are far bigger than my jurisdiction as whoever I am in regards to the institution. Not to speak on it, but just have a general conversation. We're just sharing light as students. How can we further get we are finding mechanism or ideas in handling problem that may affect only a long period of time. The issue of environmental is a big support of our economy. And we are discussing the smaller issue now that have been affecting us that through technology can help find our remedies to our problem.
Prince,
So keep
just
it keeping it to the keeping it
yeah,
to yeah
let go to another top. Let go to another
yeah
discussion. Just the
yeah
main point.
keeping it to that thing I was speaking about in general. Like there are factors like you mentioned. If I have environmental factor, the social factor, and an economic factor when it comes to sustainability, you not just focus on the institution or particular person why they're not doing this or not doing that. That is a long discussion. That is a long discussion for another day. When I was coming, I wasn't prepared. I mean, I can elaborate, but how far beyond me, I can elaborate on that. It's not like I said to defend whatever thing I'm
Yeah.
coming from. But
Okay. That's
that
fine.
discussion should stay within our topic for today.
Yeah. Let's work within the scope of the discussion tonight. To clarify some doubts from maybe from David. The guest rightfully said those the waste management treatment plan, they are all installed or implemented in those bigger facilities like ArcelorMittal. You can't tell me ArcelorMittal does not have that. ArcelorMittal has that. But the problem with our country is the regulatory aspect of our environmental law, or every law that governs the
That's the
country.
problem.
Listen, I'm coming. So the systems are in play, and then
Come in, please.
when there is no one, I mean when the government is not implementing the regulatory aspect, it becomes normal. So it does not mean that ArcelorMittal does not have a waste management treatment plant. They have it. And EPA, it does not mean that EPA is not working towards it, but that whole that Prince said is a bigger discussion. So let's leave that discussion tonight. And next Wednesday, I come in next Wednesday we having somebody from the end of ArcelorMittal. You will come and discuss issue concerning ArcelorMittal. So I believe that question would be that reserve that question for the next Wednesday, because someone is coming from he's not working with ArcelorMittal, but he's coming. He lives in that area as a professor at Nima University. He will come and discuss issue concerning ArcelorMittal. So let's leave that. That work within our scope of our discussion tonight.
Okay.
That work within our scope
Okay.
tonight.
Yeah.
So so
The
so
Yes.
so yeah,
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Uh,
Let's
yeah. I want to go to the economic aspect,
yeah, let's try to go to the
the
economic aspect,
social and
because
economic aspect.
we are still much time on the environmental aspect. I told you guys this discussion
Okay.
tonight is divided into three sessions, where we'll be discussing the three pillars of sustainable development, particularly focusing on environmental protection. So let's look at the social aspect before going to, I mean, let's go to the economic aspect before going to the social aspect, because the economic aspect is actually
Okay.
important too, that you need to consider in implementing these I mean putting in place these technologies to conserve the environment. So, Mr. Prince, Temeh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that's beautiful. Let's look at the economic aspect of this discussion. We know this pillow, it focuses on creating a stable and a prosperous economy
Job.
that provides opportunity for everyone, maybe for all citizens, for all communities, for everyone who is involved. It protects, I mean, it brings about promoting innovations and job creations and ensuring fair distribution of wealth or fair distribution of other things, and then even eradicating poverty. So in this context, we will also like for you to make us to understand that how can technology drive the development of a green economy? How can technology drive a development of a green economy? How and create sustainable jobs that will impact the environment? So respond to that question for us.
Can you please reiterate? Sorry,
I
I was
said,
taken
I
over.
said,
Mm-hmm.
considering this pillow, how can technology drive the development of a green economy and create sustainable jobs?
Okay.
How can development drive a green
No,
economy?
you say how can technology drive?
Yeah, drive
Uh-huh.
development of a green economy that will create sustainable job and not impacting the environment.
But if you talk about the economic standpoint, you don't just ban it down to green economy. Then we go back to the environmental aspect again. So we have to talk about let's focus
Yeah,
on mainly on the economy
I think
because.
I make a disclaimer that our
Mm-hmm,
focus our focus is on environmental protection, right?
mm-hmm,
Okay, so we are discussing the three pillars, but in taking consideration the environmental protection.
mm-hmm.
So if you are implementing any project or carry on infrastructure, how can you emerge it or balance it with the environment? This is our focus tonight. So there where the question came about, we say how can technology drive development of a green economy
Okay.
and create sustainable job for other people, or and that you will not even destroy the environment, or you will mitigate the destruction of the environment. That's the question.
Okay. So the first thing I would say to elaborate, that let's talk about this. When it comes to the economic standpoint of every country, there are factors that are involved, and then when it's speaking of environmental component into protection, for the future uses of our natural resources, because the economic benefit comes with natural resources, not forgetting the social component. So there are factors that we look at, that we need to improve on, whether it's a social aspect or a technical aspect. And
Mm,
the green economy is important, but it also benefit from the economic of the country. So let's take for example, right? Let's take for example the institutions, like I mentioned, the institution, other people, local business and everything that maybe involved into some environmental activity, like some private institution that they till let's say electrical waste.
mm-hmm,
Electrical waste, the whole we got old laptops, phone and everything. These are I'm putting on a some other skill, not to go back to the biggest skill, then we have to go diverge into another topic. So on the similar skills, right? This institution they use our resources and go and collect these things, and then they come back and then recycle it to something beneficiary that we can use. Something we export it, which
mm,
in financial income.
mm,
There are benefits when it comes to that employment or people that are part. There are benefits to people that affect involved with the transportation, execution of everything that involved. Let me not drive small of whatever thing we may want to go into. The economic pillars that provide us to have benefit for all citizens. You have the right to benefit from every natural resource that is owned by our country when you're a citizen of that country. Hmm?
mm-hmm,
It's cardinal to come in with policies, ideas, and methods that will check on people that are involved in providing the economic benefits. Sorry, I mean, I want to be calling it because it's all about school politics, school not politics or whatever thing. I'm not, like I said. So they have
Mm.
obligations that are attached to their functioning that's supposed to meet the social and economic benefits of whatever thing they do, regardless what a business or what environment do. So our thing is, how can we develop these policies, come on new ideas, implementation as just ideas, make a draft or even policy, wherever you are, how can you come in for us to help to find solutions that whatever activities are involved in, that the benefit can be there for the citizen, but also the activities can be carried on to bring financial benefit, not just about the social benefit, because you not just focus on the social benefit that citizens will have in a long period of time, but you also focus on the financial benefit that contribute to the country.
Mm.
So our ideas would be, what can we do in general? All of us, what can we do to find mechanism that will be put in place and we get sustainable carry these activities, but also will not affect the economic benefit that come attached with it.
Mm.
Not just about the politics, not but what can we do? What can we do?
Okay. So, since you are asking this question, an emerging specialist, what do you think we can do?
So as a recommendation,
Mm.
regardless of whatever sector that you're involved in, because everything that you do affects the environment.
Okay.
Is I'm giving a recommendation. Look within your environment, wherever you are as a librarian or wherever you think you can help out to fight a emerging problem as a solution. You recommend or implement
Okay.
through technology, through ideas, through crafted policies, whatever thing you think you can do at whatever location, wherever place you are. Come on, policies, come on, implementation, come on, ideas and everything that we can recommend and say, hey, this, if you're in this place, if you do this, there are economic benefit. But also don't forget about those people that are affected by activities that in the long period of time that we can
Mm.
still have this thing around for our future generation. That could be my recommendation.
That's beautiful. Tata Bala, this guy let to mute himself and go. Okay, David. David, that's hear from you. Guy let to mute himself. Okay, David.
Yes,
David, that's hear from you.
I agree with him because once you got policy put in place and you got those policies are being implemented fully, and uh, to have that trickle down to have that trickle down impact on the very environment we claim to protect or we are trying to protect.
Mm.
I think it's necessary. It will draw the attention of investors. People will come and make business. Once you got, I mean, you have a policy driven environment. Operation. You see,
Oh,
investors are moved and they come. So the benefit goes directly to the community, to the directly affected community, or the very
okay.
environment we are talking about, protecting. So I think I agree with him. I agree with him. But again, coming up with a policy is one aspect. But this in our society, the issue about implementation, especially in our librarian setting. Sometimes those good policies are on the books, but the implementation to take effect, how efficiently are the policies being implemented so that they can have the trigger that effect on the community or the environment we're discussing. How? So I agree with him, right?
Okay.
And also when he spoke about the social aspect, you also have to consider, I mean, protecting the rights of people, right?
Okay.
Protecting the rights of people in the very environment you're operating. You consider that. He spoke about providing job. People need to be employed, right?
Okay.
People need to be employed because they need to benefit from the environment. For any operation that takes place in the environment, they need to benefit. So it
Yeah.
provides job opportunity for them and it boosts, I mean, economic growth.
Okay, that's good. Let's hold it there.
Yes, sir.
With response to that question that I actually admire the both of you for the responses that you guys gave. In addition, in driving technology that will improve green economic and then also taking into consideration environmental protection and other things. You know, one of the things that we need to look at is like the one we mentioned before that has to do about the renewable energy advancement. Like you need to improve efficient use of resources. If you improve the efficient use of resources by implementing or developing those renewable energy sources, or by using those renewable energy sources like solar panel, wind, and hydropower, it will actually help to reduce to reduce the emission, and then also help you to get to generate more money to maximize profit while you reducing the emission of green I mean the emission of greenhouse gases. That is, you are taking into consideration the environment, the environmental consideration, environmental protection, and you are maximizing profit as well. You are maximizing profit. There's a little emission, but you are maximizing profit from that end. And then also when it comes to agricultural component, you know, agriculture basically, the focus of agriculture is to produce more food and then generate more money from the food production and other things. So in production of your agricultural activities or agricultural production, you should also take into consideration the environmental protection as well. That's why you will see people will carry on subsistence agriculture practice, conservation agriculture practices, employing all those sustainable measures that to minimize the use of water, to minimize the degradation of the land, and then even using those technology like GPS for GPS and remote sensing to spark out some of those area drone. You know, one of the technology that have been introduced is the drone. Drone can be used to transport some of those. It can be you can use anything. You can use a drone that one of the technology used by Rwanda
But
to
don't
transport.
forget, don't forget the sustainability aspect.
Yeah, that's what I'm
How
saying.
sustainable it is for our people. You see, our
So
priority should be on
Yeah,
on
you
on
to get
June
data to
June
get
is
data
our,
as
our,
well.
June is
our
sustainable.
priorities should be focused. I know it's sustainable, but if speaking in context of Liberia, how sustainable it
No,
can
we are
be.
not. I'm not talking about the context of
Oh,
Liberia. I'm
oh no,
discussing
in
the,
that
the,
talk globally.
the global perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are discussing the global perspective. We should also minimize. I was talking about minimizing the usage of those technology or those equipments that will emit greenhouse gases or that will degrade the environment. So that way, I was saying we should employ the sustainable use of agricultural activities where you will use.
Brooks,
Yeah,
Brooks, Brooks.
yeah.
You
Hello.
check your bag and send message. Check your inbox
I
and
got
send
the
message.
I got the
Check
message.
it.
I got the message. So
Yeah, yeah. Brother go.
you were not even online when I was trying to get you for information. So let's go to the environmental, not environmental, but the social aspect. So in responding to the social aspect, let's balance the social aspect with the two components that we have discussed. So Mr. Prince, looking at the
Yeah,
social aspect, you know, the social aspect is actually focusing on the well-being of the people, of everybody, and then including education, health, and other things, you know, innovations and other things. So how can
And
technology empower some of those local communities when we taking into consideration environmental protection as well and improve their efforts?
oh, okay. Speaking of the social, because when you talk about the SDG, the social play a major component that people
Yeah,
overlook.
yeah.
Overlook globally. Wherever the activities are, people look at it. But the social aspect is very costly.
Mm,
It's very costly. The activities of social is very costly. When speaking of technology, you need to meet the role of technology in helping the environment. Because the first thing for you to talk about role of technology, you first need to know that the rural areas or wherever environment they are in, when it comes to the education about climate change, environmental issues, their knowledge is are rare when it comes to that.
mm,
So we are finding solution mitigation method that can help to develop the minds of those people. So the first thing we do, we go and have them aware. Awareness comes in the awareness aspect. Whether
Okay.
you are an advocate or you're an emerging environmentalist, whatever role you can play, we have to meet them first and tell them the importance of this environment and the benefits of the environment they live in,
Okay.
regardless of wherever you are. Like the first thing we do, awareness aspect, the media, we tell them, hey, this is the environment. The Bobo can say you do this, you do this, you do this, and then if you don't do this, it affects the environment. So then we look for existing problem in the social component of whatever activities that have been carried on, whether it's money, agriculture, the existing problem, the environmental problem, issues. We look for these issues, and then we develop remedies, two actions, not just talking, 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 two actions. What can we do? How can we do this? How can we do this? After we have educated them the importance of those things they have within the environment. And
Okay.
also, we also look at the activities that is being carried on by them, whether it's illegal or legal. How does it bring benefit to them? And then when we have come to a point of understanding the benefits of the assistance of these people when it comes to social component, then we go and meet those people who are involved.
We are getting your feedback. We are getting your feedback from someone.
Mhm.
So we need to protect the guest when the guest is speaking. We are getting your feedback. Prince, go ahead.
Just a minute, excuse me. So, as I was saying, and then we meet those people that are involved, whether it's illegal or legal, meet them and tell them there are people who are situated around your activities, and there are some social benefits that you should have put in place or you should continue to put in place. But how can you change the livelihood through the social benefits of these people? And then we go in and we talk about technology. If they are using the access of charcoal and lantern as a source of power for them, for their kids to go to school, or for uh, the children to read but don't sleep at night, what can we bring as alternative? What can we bring in as alternative to replace those things that can be sustainable for them? Even if we're not around or these activities are not around, what can we do? I'm not getting you. Hello?
Brooks, you are muted. Brooks, you are
I'm
muted.
not getting you.
Okay, I think you are getting me now. I said, Mr. Prince, we are actually we appreciate your contribution and your expertise tonight in discussing this particular topic. So before going forward, and we don't have much time, let me recognize some of our followers and Mr. Victor Mame. We actually appreciate you for following tonight, and your comment says, "Good evening to all my Stream Vision family." And many thanks to our guest panelists for today's fascinating discussion. I'm following from Yanza District. Thank you very much, Victor, for following us and making your contribution. Avin Ato Marida, Gawoni, is it Gawoni? Yes, I think Gawoni. Avin says, "Good evening. I'm following from Temeh, Bomi Kante. Thank you very much for following from Liberia. We actually appreciate you. Calvin says, Calvin Duncan, he says, Mr. Prince. So it's one of your comrades, inshallah, and you. Thank you for your contribution and following our show tonight, Calvin. We actually appreciate you. And Ambassador Anthony, Tommy says, keep pushing to make Mola Earth, or you want to say Mola Land safe, please. Thank you very much for your contribution. We actually appreciate you as well. And we want to also recognize Emmanuel Patrick. Thank you for following us closely tonight. We actually appreciate you. And then we want to also say Terry Kezi, following from Nima Kante, Kole. We actually appreciate you, Terry, my own comrade. We actually appreciate you from Nima Kante Community College at that time, but not at Nima Kante University. So my own comment from Gabe directly at that time, Emmanuel Tour. Emmanuel Tour says, greetings, Stream Vision. Thanks for the amazing show. Liberia has one of the largest rainforest areas in West Africa, but it has experienced significant deforestation due to illegal logging, agricultural expansion, and mining activities. This loss threatens biodiversity, indigenous species, and the livelihood of community reliant on forest. So that so the question is, how can we as environmentalists help in mitigating these challenges. Emmanuel, thank you for your contribution and your question. I think your question have been responded to by our guest. We responded to that question actually. And Fagon, Dero, thank you for following from Yanza. We actually appreciate you. And Dave Creek, the man following from they call it the oh, my own brother, he following from United Arab Emirates. Thank you very much for following, comrade. We actually appreciate you, and we also see here who this guy Peter Carr from Yansa District. Thank you for following us, comrade. We actually appreciate you, and you guys making Stream Vision to be very strong. Our own comrade Chester, he following from right here in Kigali here. So we actually appreciate you. So, oh, your River G man, too. Oh, I didn't know. My man, thank you for following, Chester. Let's hear from the last comment I was made by Emmanuel P. He says Liberia is at the crossroad and the utilization is key. So we have to be in the position to discuss this by discussing mitigation strategies. Now, as we stand, in Liberia, technology can be a crucial tool in addressing various environmental challenges such as deforestation, pollution, waste management issues, and climate change effects. Thank you, Emmanuel Patrick. I mean, not Emmanuel Patrick, but Emmanuel P. for your immense contribution tonight on this Stream Vision show. You send a lot of contribution. Challenges such as deforestation, pollution, waste management issues, and climate change. Thank you, Emmanuel.
I think we we lost Brooks. I don't know what's the problem. Probably he will rejoin. Indeed, folks, if you are watching our daily screen vision, you are watching our Wednesday show, Environmental Talk. This is what we usually do, discuss environmental issue. So thanks for watching and continue sharing our show. If you are not follow us yet, please go on whether Facebook or YouTube. Go and follow us. Thank you. Yeah, come on, go ahead.
Yeah, you talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead. Our
Okay,
James.
okay. Let me read the last message from Comrade Muslim Zianka. She says Liberia is a developing country with technology